Hello everyone, I'm Kumar Chantel, presenter of this seminar. Hello everyone, I'm Kumar Chantel, presenter of this seminar. The seminar will discuss and explain various articles and court cases related to the contract for international sale of good based on the given case scenario where Australian based company called Pacific Trading had entered in a sales contract with Hong Kong based company called Wonder Development. The contract was prepared with the subject to Australian law. According to the sales contract, Wonder Development had to deliver 10,000 cubic meter of plywood to Sydney, ordered by Pacific Trading by 30 August 2020. Wonder Development had only delivered 5,000 cubic meter of plywood by 30 August 2020, where 30% of the delivered plywoods were found defective by Pacific Tradings after inspecting the delivered goods at the Sydney port. The issue of the cases are the applicability of CISC in the sales contract between Pacific Trading of Australia and Wonder Development of Hong Kong, due to the fact that Hong Kong is not the signatory member of CISC, whereas Australia is the signatory member of CISC, which has applied CISC in its domestic law. The second important issues of this case between Pacific Trading and Wonder Development is whether there is a fundamental breach of contract pursuant to the Convention on the Contract for the International Sale of Goods, due to the reason that Wonder Development was unable to deliver 10,000 cubic meter of plywood by 30 August 2020. Wonder Development had only delivered 5,000 cubic meter of plywood to Sydney to Pacific Trading by August 30, 2020. Similarly, during the inspection at Sydney port, the Pacific Trading had found that 30% of the delivered plywood were defective. So the issues are whether the late delivery or the partial delivery of the goods and the defective goods are the fundamental breach of the contracts or not, and what types of remedy will be applied under the CISG. The applicability of CISC. According to the CISC Article 1, convention apply to the contract of sale of goods between parties whose place of business are in a different state. Furthermore, CISC Article 1b explain that the rule of private international law lead to the application of the law of the contracting state. The contract between Pacific Trading Company Limited and Wonder Development was written to be subject to the Australian law, which has rectified the CISs into this domestic law. So by considering the CISC Article 1 and 1b, CISC is applicable in this case, even though Hong Kong's not being a signatory member of CISC. As the Wonder Development fundamentally breached the sales contract, CISA Article 25 explained that a breach of contract committed by one of the party is fundamental if it results in such a detriment to the other party as substantially to deprive him of what he is entitled to expect under the contract, unless the party in breach did not foresee and a seasonable person of the same kind in the same circumstances would not have foreseen such a result. In this case, Wonder Development has delivered only a portion of the order good to Pacific Tradings within a mentioned delivery date, which was 30 August 2020. Similarly, at the port of Sydney Pacific Trading has found that 30% of the delivered goods were defective while inspecting. Similarly, Article 35.1 of the Convention explained about the conformity of the good, which requires the seller to deliver goods which are of quality, quantity, and descriptions required by the contract and which are contained or packaged in the manner required by the contract. Furthermore, Article 39.1 explained that the buyer loses the right to rely on the lack of conformity of the good if he does not give notice to the specific specifications, the nature of the lack of the conformity within a reasonable time after he has discovered it or ought to have discovered it. In this case, along with 30% defectives on delivered goods, Wonder Development when has delivered only a portion of the goods to the Pacific Trading. So by implementing the element of Article 25 or fundamental breach and conformity on Articles 35.1 and Article 39.1, there is a fundamental breach of sales contract by Wanda Development. The example of the court case of fundamental breach under the CISG. The case is between Swiss company called Folio Packs and Italian company called the Denipes. Folio Pack has ordered the goods from the Italian company called Denipes, where the goods were supposed to delivered to Folio Pack within 10 to 15 days. After 2 months, Denipes sent a letter to Folio Packs to order with a new price, but the seller send a notice canceling the orders and requiring the refund of the price. The seller admitted that it had handed over the goods to the carrier only after receiving the notice of cancellation from the buyer, and that moreover the delivery was a parcel. The buyer refused to accept the late and partial delivery and commenced an action claiming avoidance of the contract for breach by the seller. The buyer also claimed a refund of the purchase price with the interest and the damage. In this case, the court has ruled that the partial delivery and the late delivery were the fundamental breach of the contract according to the Act 49.1 under CISC. So the court had ruled that buyer was entitled to avoid the contract and to recover the full purchase price already paid to the seller. Remedies for the Pacific trading. According to the Article 49.1 and 49.1b, the buyer may declare the contract be avoided if the seller has fundamentally breached the contract. In this case, Wonder Development has fundamentally breached the contract. So by applying this rule, Pacific Trading has an option to cancel the contract, but the Pacific Trading has to think about the associated costs regarding the canceling the contract. It might be huge, so it's better to look for the alternative remedies. The alternative remedies might be Article 46.2 of CISC gives right to the buyer for demanding a substitute good if the lack of conformity constitute a fundamental breach of contract, and a request for the substitute good is made either in conjunction with the notice given on Article 39.1. Article 39.1 explains that if there is some defective goods on the consignment, it has to be informed to the sellers within a specific period of time. If the buyer is unable to inform about the defective goods to the seller, then the buyer don't have the right to claim under the lack of conformity act. So in this case, Pacific Company has the right to reject the defective goods and demand for the delivery of the substitute good for the defective plywood and remaining consignment. Similarly, if Pacific Trading has the source remaining plywood from different suppliers, Article 50 provides provision for the Pacific Trading to claim the loss of $5 per metric of the remaining undelivered consignment from Wanda Trading. In addition, by using Article 47, Pacific Company has the right to extend the delivery time for the delivery of remaining consignment. So in this case examples, Kappa Ronald has delivered defective goods to Maya Roger. By using the articles of lack of conformity, Maya Roger has cancelled the contract, and it was a fundamental breach of the contract. So after that, the Maya Rogers went to the court to sue the Ronald. The court has made a verdict on the favor of Mayor Rosa, saying that the buyer was entitled to recover personal damage under the Article 74 of CISC and can cancel the contract because of the fundamental breach of the contracts under the lack of conformity. So in conclusion, CISA is applicable in this sales contract between Wonder Development and Pacific Trading. Although Hong Kong is not the secretary member of CISC. The contract between Wanda Development and Trading Pacific Tradings were prepared with the subjects of Australian law. Similarly, Wanda Development has fundamentally breached the sales contract, so the Pacific Trading has the right to cancel the contract or go for the alternative remedies to cover the loss. Thank you.